Hello, this is going to be my first video where I'm going to start talking about my documentation. I'm going to document my journey about learning code. I thought it would be an interesting idea to do. I saw someone else do it on YouTube, so I was like, heck, why shouldn't I do it? So I've decided to learn code around a month and a half ago, and actually it's been like 2 months, and for the first month and a half I was messing around with Python, doing stuff with Python, making Python applications. I messed around with the Pygame module a little bit, and I decided I wanted to learn web development. I thought it was interesting. I looked at Django and I was like, that's pretty cool. So I was about to start learning Django when a friend of mine was like, oh, you should learn a bit of front end first before you start learning back end. So that's why I started learning HTML and CSS, and now I'm starting to learn a bit of JavaScript. And I've also realized that I don't know if I really want to learn Django. There seems to be better backend frameworks and better backend stuff you can use. Even with JavaScript, you can use, I think it's called Node.js. But yeah, I don't know if I want to learn Django anymore. So with the HTML and CSS that I have decided to learn, I decided to learn it through the Odin project. If you don't know the Odin project, it just teaches you all the basics about web development. So this is it. So this is the foundations course. This will teach you a bit of front end, so it's just an introduction to everything. And you'll see some of them aren't ticked, but I understand what I'm doing, don't worry. It teaches you about the Flexbox, and I've reached the JavaScript lessons. So JavaScript and Python are actually pretty similar from what I've seen. I presume that's the same with all languages. They'll be quite similar in a lot of ways. In the way their logic works and stuff. There'll be a little differences, but yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff about JavaScript and the weakly typed aspect of it. It's quite strange. I'm so used to converting strings and converting data types in Python that in JavaScript that it doesn't matter, or they can just be interpreted itself, and it's quite interesting. Maybe my language is a bit off, but yeah, so HTML and CSS things that I have built would be, like, the main thing would be this project landing page. The rest were just me messing around with aspects of it, not really making anything that aesthetically pleasing or interesting, really. So here's my landing page. Yeah. So I made a bar. There's actually a photo of me, but yeah, whatever. So I made a bar. There's a bunch of information about me. That's a bunch of just loose thoughts. So yeah, I'm currently under 18. I don't know. I presume you could tell by my voice or something. But yeah, becoming a software engineer would be pretty cool. I've come to love code quite a bit actually now, and in the Odin project actually gets you to build a landing page quite similar to this one, although they say you can do whatever you want with it and mess around with it. The template they give you to follow is quite a bit more basic than this one, but I was like, why not challenge myself? So here we are. So I added a little bit of CSS effects like that, although it's nothing impressive. It was quite impressive when I implemented it to myself actually, as I couldn't really do much else at the time. And I just made that, I made them hover. I mean, when I hover over them, they get larger. And there's a bit of parallax scrolling down there. I figured out you could do parallax scrolling quite late. I would have made this parallax scrolling as well, but I just want to continue on with the lessons at this point. Yeah, that's the name of my GitHub. Yeah, so that's that, and I actually have the code up if you want to see how bad it is. I don't know if maybe I'll put these in files in the link or something in the description, sorry, but yeah, so everything is done through Flexbox. Flexbox is pretty useful. It's quite easy to use, and yeah, I've heard the other way to do stuff like this is with the CSS grid method. I haven't learned anything about that, but I mean, Flexbox is working right now, and that's what the Odin project told me, so I'm just following that. There's the hover effect for when you hover over the little photos, and yeah, it's nothing's crazy happens in the CSS here. As you can see, it's all pretty basic stuff, and same with my HTML, fairly basic stuff. For the photos and stuff, I used links primarily because I didn't want to download anything, couldn't be bothered to download much. And yeah, so these will probably go up on YouTube, and if they do, I would love to hear the thoughts of anybody watching, and any suggestions, ways I could improve, or ideas about what things I should learn, work on, anything like that. Yeah. Alright, thanks to you for watching if you have watched this far, and goodbye.